Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It is me, screaming into the void of the internet. Happy New Year. No, I'm a little bit late on that, but hope everything goes relatively well for you. You know, hope that this year treats you a lot better. I thought that this year was treating me a little bit better, but it turns out that I'm probably going to be going homeless because we basically have like a couple of days to let go, and we don't really have anywhere else. Now, something else could still happen, but from the looks like it, it's probably what it's going to look like. Now, I could come here and I could just be crying and, doing a stupid. I feel like the younger people, to be honest, like the TikTok nonsense where they're just crying on camera and stuff like that. And they're just venting. But here's the thing, this is how I see it, okay? I've been through a lot in life, and, you don't usually get to decide, your lot, so to speak, in life, if that makes sense, You don't get to choose your parents, you don't get to choose your opportunities, you don't get to choose your upbringing, you don't get to choose your wealth, you know. And sometimes these things can really just put you at a very, very, very bad disadvantage, you know. I'm sure that other people look and say, oh, well, your sisters are gone and stuff like that. Well, my sisters are only gone because they moved in with men, you see. My sisters, for example, have the ability to do that because, well, they're female. And someone's always going to want to, give them a home as long as they get access to the vagina. I am a male, and so society expects me to, be able to provide for myself. And listen, I want to provide for myself. I really do. I want to. I have looked and looked and looked for jobs, and they have not come. And heck, I actually got an interview. At least it's supposed to be, next week, but it's kind of pointless to go now, isn't it? Considering that I'm likely going to be homeless. So, and I don't even know if it's an interview because like there's so many like fake interviews that you get these days that the only way that you know if you actually have an interview is if you call ahead of time and you just ask them like straight up, which is something that I was going to do anyway. I was going to call ahead of time, maybe Monday, considering that the interview is next week, and just ask and confirm and make sure that I actually do have an interview, but don't really know if there's any point in doing that now. And like I said, I hope I don't sound like, dreary or hopeless or whatever, because listen. There are people who are homeless who, haven't given up hope and they're going to try and get out of it. And listen, you don't really know what life's going to be. Life's unpredictable. And despite me, if I am to become homeless, there are still opportunities here, to the best of my abilities that I will try and make happen, I'll try and make happen. Definitely going to give my friend my electronics and stuff to look out for. I don't know what I'll do about my clothes. It is what it is, though. It's nothing I can do. I'm sad to like at least start the new year off on like a sour note. Wish I could have something more not power, but positive to report. But it's just not to be, I guess. I know that a lot of people in this space. I know a lot of you have been dealt some very bad hands and stuff like that. And I've seen some guys like come down and they just break down crying. But like when you just start to understand that, listen, man, this isn't your fault. Like don't blame yourself for all this. You could do everything right and try. Because listen, I know I tried a lot harder than a lot of most people, and that's not me to like stroke my ego and say like, oh yeah, I'm just amazing or something like that. I was walking miles to try and get jobs and stuff like that, and nothing was adding up. And it would be funny that like now I at least get an interview, although I've had a few interviews anyway. Not that they led to anything, but it would be funny if this was the interview that actually did lead me to get the job, and right as I get it, right, homeless. So yeah, I hope that all of you who I've actually talked every now and again to in the comments, I hope you guys are still doing well though. I hope you guys aren't gonna become homeless because it's pretty crappy. It's pretty crappy to think about. Because like I said, I do have like one last strategy, and I can maybe like ask my aunt not to live with her, because I really don't want to live with family at this point, man. Like, if I am going to become homeless, I'm going to try and use this as like just a way of starting over. I don't want to live with family, because as awful as it is to say, although it wasn't necessarily entirely their fault, like they did put themselves in a position that kind of allowed this to happen. So I want to be in a position where like I'm controlling everything, so yeah. Not that that's going to be the easiest thing, considering that I'm a man and you don't really get help as a man. If you're homeless as a man, you really just have to try, but it's just very difficult because they just don't give a rat's arse. If like you were to try and make a like male exclusive homeless shelter, like they would just be saying, "Oh, this is dangerous" for some reason. Like even though like you have female exclusive homeless shelters and female exclusive places to like have jobs and stuff like that. So the DEI hire is crazy. Like I was looking at Indeed and stuff like that as I like search for jobs, and like I'm seeing like way more, especially like now for some reason, like, oh, we want to make sure that we're being inclusive and all this stuff. I'm like, listen, how can we actually just qualify people who are actually qualified? Like why the inclusion? Like this is kind of what I mean. Like people don't understand just how crazy it is when you're out here looking for a job. And listen, I'm not envious of that. I hope that you don't have to understand. I hope that you can keep a job, You shouldn't have to worry about what I'm worried about. I've never had the opinion that just because I'm going through something like bad that I want everyone to go through it too. Like they say misery loves company, that's true, but that's why I actively say, no, I don't want someone to go through this, The only people who should probably go through this are like people that ruin other people's lives, like freaking divorced bastards and stuff like that, right? You had something good and you just threw it all away, yeah, you should go through stuff like this. But hey, you got a snatch, so you're probably gonna just find someone else, so it doesn't really affect you, But like I said, I do wish that I had something more positive to note. Recording from the phone again, just because don't know how long we have. Like I said, I'm most definitely going to be calling my friend over maybe next week so that he can pick up my stuff, and because he wants me to live with him, but I just can't imagine like living with the guy that I love so much. Not in that way, you sick bastards, but as a brother. And I'm just there mooching off of him, and I can't do anything. I just wouldn't want to do that to him, And I know that would worry him, to like know where I was, not know where I was and stuff like that, but I'm sure I can find a way to stay in touch, It's just I don't want to put myself in a position where I could compromise that friendship, because listen, that friendship has honestly been hands down the most important friendship in my entire life. He has always been there for me. He's always done the best that he can to relate to me and lend his ear, and I've done the best that I can for him too. And to like basically be offered to live with him, I know that he would in a heartbeat, but I just wouldn't want to put myself in a position to maybe cause any drama between his family, anyone that's living with him, because he does live with, his mom, and it's his apartment and all, but, I just wouldn't want to cause any strife, I wouldn't want to cause any problems in that family. I wouldn't want to lose that relationship. If anything was going to hurt me anymore in this world, like, it would definitely be to lose my friend, and trust me, like, family getting involved in that stuff, that kind of happens, Family members, lovers, they'll push you away from certain people that, you really don't always need to be pushed away from. Sometimes, yeah, but then other times they don't really understand. They just want to know why you're so attached to them instead of them, like. So, I wouldn't really want to put him into that predicament. Like I said, I don't really know what I'll do. I'll try and see what I can do, but we'll just have to see, man, because it's an odd place to be in, A lot of people think that it can't happen to them, but, I mean, it can, A lot of us are probably one paycheck away, if you are working, from being homeless. Heck, I mean, even if I were to get a job, I wouldn't really be able to, like, afford a full place. The whole point for me getting the job was to, like, be able to get my medical records and then join this career field that wants physically fit people, but, just because I had childhood asthma, I used to get cucked, so that really put a wrench in things, and here I am. I don't really know what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm not saying this as like, woe is me. Because listen, we just have to just accept what we get in life, not in terms of liking it, but moving forward, you know? We just have to accept it. We don't always get good times, you know? Like, there are people that had their lives ruined by wars and stuff like that. And I'm not just talking about recent wars, I'm just talking, like, across human history. People coming in and, like, hauling them off to be slaves and stuff like that, you know? Like, there's just awful things that have happened across human history. I don't know why a lot of people have this mentality where, okay, well, that was then, this is now, like, this won't happen to me, but it can happen, dude. It can happen. Anything can happen. Life is unpredictable. And so, if I'm meant to be without a home for however long, and hopefully it's temporary, you know? I don't know, maybe I could die out there. You never know. But if I'm to be without a home for however long, I'm just going to do the best that I can to make the most of it. I'm going to do the best that I can not to let it, like, eat me alive. I'm not going to let my brain rot. I'm not going to get on drugs. I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'm just going to do the best that I can in that situation. I can't say that I know what I do because, again, I've never been on the streets. You know, not fully. We've had very close calls, but not fully. I'd probably just squat, to be honest. Go ahead. I'm going ahead and saying that, you know, even on YouTube, you know, go ahead and say whatever you want because, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You'll throw me in jail and give me a roof over my head, right? Like, oh no. How awful. And yeah, listen, I know that that's awful to say, but it's like, what do you want? If you're not going to let people do things the legal way, don't be surprised when they do it the illegal way, you know? People will make sure that they can survive. Now, how it's done is just different. You know? Because it sucks. It really does suck. It sucks to be in this position. Because I was trying my hardest, you know, to actually make things happen. And things just won't happen. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys who are NEETs and stuff like that, you can relate. Maybe you've given up on work, but I know quite a few NEETs that haven't given up on work. My friend is in a position where, like, his mom threw him out, and it's only because he had a friend that took him in that he has a home right now. Not my friend that I'm talking about, like, a lot in the videos, but a different one, right? This is life, man. This is life. People that brought you into this world just throw you out. And that's just kind of it. Really hope that if he gets himself together, or when he does, like, he doesn't feel like he has any obligation to her. Really do. So, it does suck to be dealt this hand, but what can you do, you know? You can't scream into the void like I'm doing, you know? You can scream into the void, get it off your chest, get it out of your mind, but you still do have to face it. It's the reality that we have to deal with, right? As true a reality as death. You know, a lot of people like to think that they can escape from bad realities. They just only want the good reality. Oh, this person, air quotes, loves me. Oh, I like doing this hobby. Oh, I like getting, you know, paid this amount of money. But then there's the bad realities that people just want to pretend like aren't happening. No, it's happening. You know, the fact of the matter is, I don't know when it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen either this week or next week, but I'm probably going to be out without a home. You know, might have to sleep in a car for a day or two. Might have to see about, like, getting into a shelter. I will have to give my friend my stuff so that he can look after it. I could give him my clothes, but I don't want to, like, freaking bombard him. I don't have that many clothes, but I like, literally have, like, three. I have three, like, little containers that basically have all my clothes, and that's it. That's pretty much it, you know. All my clothes can basically fit in 3 containers. And I've always liked that, because I said, you know, if I had to go, I want to be able to just take, like, one day and move, right? Because, like, the dressers are in my room, they're not mine, I don't even really use them. It's just so much stuff, you know, that you can't control in this life. It really is a pain, but you just gotta move forward, you know. Don't know what's gonna happen. Don't know what the future's gonna hold, and I know that there's a lot of uncertainty into this video, because I am uncertain. I don't really know what's next, you know. Could just be the guy just on the sidewalk eventually. I don't really think I'll let it happen to me, though, because I think I'd literally just say, hey, listen, I'm just gonna do something legal so I can get arrested. At that point, you know. I do that so that I could actually have a roof over my head. Because, like, there are actually, like, programs, believe it or not, that make sure that criminals get jobs before you. So, like, ain't that some crap? Wouldn't it be crazy if I actually had to go to jail just to increase the chances that I get a job? It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. But, you know, I wouldn't let myself just be the guy on the sidewalk forever or something like that, you know? So, I say this mainly as, like, you know, an update. I will try to keep you informed. I don't know how long I'll be able to be honest. I don't really know what any people in my family are really going to do. I did tell them to begin with. I say, I think you guys are putting way too much trust in this. You shouldn't trust the court systems. They don't have your best interests at heart, and you have to really trust that that judge is going to do right by you. And there are instances where, like, they won't necessarily do wrong by you, but they won't do right either. They'll just be, like, neutral. Like, you know what? I could give you something, but I'm just literally going to choose to just give you a period of time to just go. That's it. That's the air quotes nicest thing I'll do. You won't get any money. You won't get any, like, resolvement to the case. Neither will the other person, but you still lose, you know? Like, no one wins, but everyone loses. Like, that's your freaking American system. If there's no money in it, if they can't see a way that they can, like, keep it going to basically make sure that they get money, they're just going to keep it going. They're going to keep it going. And that's a shame. It really is, because, you know, it sucks that the so-called justice system that claims to be blind is only really concerned about what's green. So it's unfortunate, but again, it's the world that we live in, and we can complain about it, but it's not going to change. So yeah. But NEETs, fellow NEETs, anyone who's in some dark times, some black pill spaces, do hang in there. You know, I'm hanging in there, and I might about to be homeless, man. I shouldn't even say might at this point. I should really just accept the fact that I'm probably going to be homeless. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to whine about how it's unfair. It is unfair, but nothing in this life is really fair when you think about it, you know. You don't get to ask for, again, like, any of your upbringings, the amount of money you'll make, opportunities. Nothing is really fair when you really start thinking about it. But I'm also not so, like, self-centered, and I don't mean this, like, as an asinine, like, or smug up way, like, of saying that, but I'm also not self-centered to the extent that I think that if I am suffering, then, like, everything's wrong with the world, because the fact that I could call suffering to other things, and the fact that I am benefiting in a lot of aspects off of other people's suffering is, you know, and I'm fine with that, and I'm complacent with that, is when I'm benefiting, but then when it's, like, screwing me over, then I'm mad, you know, so I've never really felt that way. If that makes sense, you know, maybe I'm not making sense, I'm just kind of rambling, talking about these things, getting it off my chest. I do think some people will, like, kind of find me funny looking, if that's the case, because I do look incredibly young, despite being, like, 26, so they'll be like, you're homeless? Yep, I'm 26, but I just look pretty young. I still look like a teenager. So that'll be funny. I'll just try and be careful out there, I guess, you know. But I'm gonna just try and bring this to a close. NEETs, black pillars, doomers, whatever you want to call yourselves, right? Hang in there, guys. And I know, look at me, I'm about to be homeless, and I'm still telling you hang in there, so that's funny. But hang in there, man. I don't know how long it might have, how long this is gonna happen to me. I can't even speak right now. I don't know how long I might have to endure this. Maybe I'll die out there, I don't know. But hang in there, guys. Because at the end of the day, I can't say that there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel, but your situations can change, you know. They can change for the worse, but they can also change for the better. And I know that it's very difficult. Very difficult. It's very just easy to just get into a position like, whatever happens, happens, whatever, I don't care anymore. But things can change. So always keep yourself open to the possibility that, hey man, it can get better. It can get better. So yeah. Just try and keep that attitude. hopefully this year again is going to be better. I at least hope it's better. Even if it's going to be like the year that I'm homeless, I hope it's at least better for everyone else. Especially because Mr. Orange Man will be there, hopefully. Not that I have all my faith in him, by any means. I don't. But, I don't know, I at least hope that economically speaking that people can begin to be able to afford a living a lot more. You know? But I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm going to go ahead and conclude here. For all those who have watched me thus far, if I don't post for a very long time, I just want you to know that I'm very appreciative of the kindful thoughts, of the comments, even the negative ones, you know. I'm appreciative of the engagement, the different exchanges of views that I got here. Thank you for lending your ear. I hope that life treats you well. God bless, and hopefully I'll see you again.